Kings Dominion has been my home park as long as I've been alive. With my favorite manufacturer being Rocky Mountain Construction, I was just waiting for the day that they would build one at Kings Dominion, and they finally did. It opened as Twisted Timbers in March of 2018, and guys, I am thrilled to say that I couldn't be happier. It has so many airtime moments, some fantastic inversions, and just in general, a good layout. So for this video, I'm going to go a bit in depth on everything you can expect when you go to ride Twisted Timbers at Kings Dominion. So I want to first start with that experience you're going to get walking up to it. The section of the park that Hurler was located in was absolutely dreadful. It was dreary, it was ugly. There wasn't really a whole lot good about it. So Kings Dominion completely revamped that section of the park. It looks awesome now. There's a twisted tree icon with steel running up through it, very cool. And they've also built this new brick gated entrance with the ride sign on it. It's really cool. The ride is loosely themed to an apple orchard, and they've done a good job at portraying that. They have the one truck out front, and then they have a second truck in the queue. And the queue I'm a little mixed on because I do think that they made it look way nice. I mean, way nicer than Hurler looked. And they added a couple sheds, which I think is hilarious because I think is a direct reference to Mystic Timbers queue, which also has 2 sheds. So really only coaster fans are going to understand that bit. So that looks great, but the part that I'm really kind of wondering what the heck is going on here is they have this like starfish orb thing that like glows at night. It almost looks like an extraterrestrial thing, and I guess the whole theme with this ride is that something happened to disturb the apple orchard, but the theme is really vague. Like, they don't really explain what exactly is going on here. They leave this like mystery of this starfish like thing. It looked like a meteorite kind of landed there, I guess, but we don't know what it is, and it's never explained during the ride. Maybe that was done on purpose, but I think that was one complaint. I think that the theme could have been executed just a little bit better. Also, there's a floating tractor in the queue, which is, I think, going to become a new meme. That is absolutely hilarious because it makes no sense whatsoever. But that being said, I kind of like it. So you're going to board your trains, and one thing is that RMC has debuted these new trains for their hybrid coasters, and this is the first to feature them. So they feature lighter restraints. They also feature the lightning rod grab handlebars, making it the second coaster to have them. And really the main difference with this train is that the front of the car has some additional wheels and kind of a different setup. So the goal is to help make the coaster feel smoother, and man, is that achieved. This is by far the smoothest RMC I have ever ridden. And I've ridden most RMCs. This is without a doubt the smoothest. So if you're worried about this coaster being rough or anything like that, absolutely not. This is glossy smooth. So you're going to make a right-hand turn out of the station and go up this lift hill, about 111 feet up, and you're going to curve into a bank through a 0G roll. And that is your first inversion. It's 109 feet tall. Only the second barrel roll drop in America, the other being Storm Chaser. And I've done Storm Chaser, so kind of think of this as like a mirrored version. Storm Chaser banks to the left into a 0G roll, and this one banks to the right. They both feel pretty much the same, and I really like this. I think it was an excellent choice to go with that because it really fits Hurler's layout. It's different from every other drop at the park. So as soon as you exit that, you are going to be ejected into a small airtime hill and then jammed into your seat through this overbank curve. From here on out, we go into one of the coolest parts, which is these 3 massive consecutive ejector-filled hills. And man, is the airtime strong with this one. The first time I saw this, I was like, 3 airtime hills in the row? Well, I kind of wish one of them was an inversion or there was something different. No. This is awesome. Like, there's so much airtime with each one of these. It is crazy. This is by far the most airtime in the park. Probably some of the best airtime you'll find on an RMC. And from here, we make our way into a cutback. This was actually my first ever cutback. So think of it like a stall, but to the side. So you twist and you're only upside down for like maybe a second or two before coming out of it. And then a trick track double up. Now, one thing worth noting is that this one is actually a little bit more spread out than Storm Chaser's. Storm Chaser's trick track double up is really kind of violent. And so for that reason, I do like Storm Chaser's a little bit more than this one. But this one's still really fun. Think of it like 2 airtime hills, but they bank in opposite directions. And then our next element, it actually is going to turn under the structure into an outer bank. This is the only outer bank turn on the ride. And I'm glad that Twisted Timbers included one because those are really cool elements if you get the chance to experience one. And then surprise, surprise, our next element is another airtime hill followed by a 0G roll, which is the third inversion on this ride. And RMC is a master at 0G rolls. These things are always way fun. And then we end everything out with 2 smaller bank turns into another small hill into the brakes. So I really do like the layout. I gotta say, the first time I rode this, I was kind of disappointed because I thought the pacing was kind of weak on that back half of the ride. But the first time I rode it, it was also a bit colder out and it was early in the season. And I found that as I rode it more and more times throughout the day and even the next day, it picked up speed. So the reason why I'm not making a big deal out of this is because I realized once summer rolls around and it's like 90 degrees out, this thing is gonna be hauling. Even just riding this thing at night, it was hauling. And that's the type of ride that I like. So just kind of be wary of that. I think when it is cold out, the coaster will be running kind of slow, which this coaster is supposedly going to be open for Winterfest. So when it's cold in Virginia during that time of year, the ride might not be running like it should, but it's still way fun. In terms of recommended seating, I would 100% recommend the back seat. Out of all the times I've ridden it so far, back seat was by far my favorite. But if you get the chance, definitely try out multiple seats. So for its final score, I'm going to give it a 10. I think it's an outstanding RMC. I'm thrilled that it's at my home park, and I can see how this would be a lot of people's favorite ride in the park, and maybe even some people's favorite RMC. Like I said, I think it's going to depend on how it's running when you get around to riding it, but in general, I am optimistic. I really do like the layout. I think Kings Dominion did a great job with it, and as I mentioned earlier, the only complaints that I had are really quite minor. In the long run, they aren't going to matter. So would I recommend making a trip out to Kings Dominion to ride this thing? Definitely. Kings Dominion is now one of only 2 parks in America that you'll be able to ride an RMC and a Giga Coaster, and that alone makes Kings Dominion a stop that you absolutely need to make. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree with me on my thoughts on Twisted Timbers. You can post all those thoughts down below in the comment section. Of course, stay tuned for more coaster reviews coming soon to Coaster Studios. Thank you for watching.